Hey you, it's Adam, and I'm here with my mom, Susan. And today we're going to talk about how her son, Robbie, my brother from another mother, because I didn't have my biological mom in my life, and Miss Susan's been in my life for my whole entire life. She's an amazing woman, and we basically just want to share our story of how fentanyl in Florida fractured our family. It's almost 2 years now.
Year and 7 months.
Yeah, March 10th, 2019.
Correct.
The day before I was ready to celebrate my 4 year, because my sobriety date's March 11th, 2016. And I guess I just really want to start with what we talked about at breakfast. You know, I remember it was daylight savings, right? The clocks had sprung forward that
Didn't
day.
hear the bunny.
Right. And I remember getting a text message from you. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. And I looked at the phone, and I'll never forget it. It said, Robbie's dead. And I literally, you know, because the first part of things is denial, right? Like, this isn't happening to me. I don't need to go to rehab. I don't have a problem. So I remember I responded to you, Robbie who? And your text message was Robbie, your brother. It's been, I would say for me, now that we're approaching, you know, that closer to 2 year mark, it's been a little bit better on me.
Me too.
What was it like? Can you recall some of the feelings and stuff? I mean, I remember us being out front. All the police had the whole thing lit up. It was just like...
I know I was definitely in shock. Or I couldn't have kept it together as much as I did. Not that it was that great.
Right.
But definitely shock.
Like shock and awe. Like, I can't believe this shit's happened.
Exactly.
Or is like, you know, why me or why him, or, you know, that kind of overwhelming feeling.
He knew so many people that used, and
yeah,
there were so many people that you could pick and choosing, that I thought if somebody was going to overdose, it would have been X, Y, or Z
right
before him.
You know, it's funny, I thought that I was going to, you know, because I was always the worst of the decision makers in our family. And you know, so for me, like for you just said, that whole shock thing, like, I couldn't believe it, man. Like you said, everybody we was messing with is almost dead already. And you know, I thought I should have been. So like when it happened to Robbie, man, my first initial response was, it should be me, you know? And it wasn't. It was Robbie.
Luckily you had kept clean.
Yeah.
He was clean for a while, and then all it takes is that one connection.
Mm-hmm.
You never know where that's going to come from. If you hadn't made that, but you can't say that either. What
right,
if,
contemplation, right. You're going to be too hard on yourself,
what
right?
If I'd done that?
I did that.
There's at least 5 of us that could say, what if I'd done this? What if I hadn't done that?
Right.
But how you say, keep your circle small.
Right.
When you start expanding your circle, you're setting yourself up to more possibilities of relapse.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened.
You know, and that's one thing, even with me now, like it's not necessarily that I forced myself to keep my circle small. It's that I know what I need to do to continue on my path. And, you know, I got love for everybody in our neighborhood. We come from East Fort Myers. You're born here too, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're both born in Fort Myers, Florida, both Riverdale High School attendees. But like, it's somewhere between like hermit crab and hiding from people, I guess. And I just can't believe. Now you got the, what is it called when the guy finds out why Robbie passed?
The cause of death.
Cause of death. And that was?
Overdose of fentanyl.
Overdose on fentanyl.
And I know 100% that he had no idea there was any fentanyl involved in anything he did.
Right. And I mean, there's a real good chance that, you know, me and him had done fentanyl previously and it just didn't have a substantial, right? Because I remember we were going off of Ortez and like it would be so good, you know, as a opiate consumer aspect.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's one of the things I asked the police that night. I'm like, if it kills people, why are the dealers doing that? Because, well, if it doesn't, it's the best high they've ever had, and that word gets out there, everybody wants it. But it's not a chemist that's doing it, it's Bubba in the kitchen of his trailer.
Right, or overseas, or just anything. So one thing that I found out, because I spent so much time in them streets, it's excessively cost effective on a acquisition of the drug dealer. So they can basically cut anything. Like, for example, we used to buy inositol, mannitol. It's like all these artificial sweeteners, and we would cut the heroin with it. And that's what they're doing with the fentanyl. And, Mom, I quit counting after Robbie died. And I think Robbie was like number 30 something. And we just keep losing more people. Is there anything, I mean, like I'm stuck down here. Like I'm to the point where I feel like I've tried so hard to reach out to the recovery community down here, and it's very challenging down here for me to
think so.
have everybody come out and even tell their story. You know what I mean?
That's one thing I've never done is I never tried to cover up what it was.
Right.
I thought everybody needed to know what's out there.
Yeah.
And if it could help one person.
Mission achieved.
Compassion to all the moms out there that have lost someone, or you go through a lot being the mom too. I mean, I've been lied to, stolen from.
I've stolen from you. We've stolen from you.
Luckily, I have a strong forgiveness and compassion. I don't hold anything against anybody because I know it was the drugs. I know that if everybody would have been 100% clean, none of those things would have happened.
Right.
I mean, I drove people to places I never thought I would be, and
sitting there waiting on the man.
Supported I don't know how many people as far as living there and feeding them and for years. Wasn't easy. But you know, when you love somebody as much as you love your children, you do most anything.
Yeah. And then like, oh man, it goes back to like what I could have done, and I know I shouldn't stay in there, right? Like I'm on such a mission to do this and what I'm doing, and man, I feel like I'm giving it my all, but like, I don't know.
You can't live alone.
Yeah, I know, but the loss of him, man, it's tough because like, I mean, I'm surrounding myself with some good people.
That's what you have to do.
And like I get lonely, and that gives me PTSD of when I would go back in the backyard and Robbie would sit with me and tell me it's going to be all right, bro. And I know in my recovery that it's going to be all right, right? Because the only thing we have to do is choose not to get high. Yeah. Choose to reach out to a sponsor, a mama, a content creator you follow, God, whatever you need to do. But like, I just, like all my shittiest moments, like I'd be so far in my head, whether it be about my dad issue or my biological mom leaving issue or the abandonment, you know, regardless of how much love y'all showed me, I would still endure those feelings. And I mean, you would come out there too. And I remember I would go in them dark places for like a day or two. I want to continuously make content. I want to continuously reach out to mothers and daughters and sons and brothers, everybody that's lost somebody, to let them know that you're not alone. And if you need help, you need to reach out. You just got to find some things. What do you find yourself doing? Because, I mean, like, we were all so close, you know, and of course, I'm hopefully departing to Georgia to continue my life. You're hopefully departing somewhere up in that neck of the woods, too, to develop your life. Do you ever find yourself, like for me, I find myself all alone, right? Even though I'm not, right? Like, I'm sitting here all alone, right? And, like, it just overwhelms me. Like, I'll be in the shower, I'll be here, and then I just start thinking of them, and it just, like, overwhelms me, and it's, like, such an emotional drain. Do you still experience that?
Not like I did at the beginning, but it'll hit me at weird times.
Right. Like, in the middle of nowhere, or in the middle of a simple thought?
Something will happen that is such a remembrance, or
right.
Little things.
Like right now, Halloween coming up, and how much of a fan he was of scary movies.
Yeah, and I see things like that, and I share them with the people that get it.
Right.
You know where I'm coming from.
Right.
But sometimes it'll be little things. I mean, the same pictures are on the wall in my office. Not that I'm there as much now.
Right, that we're always
same
there.
Pictures are there.
Right.
And then some days I'll turn around and I look, and I see those beautiful blue eyes, and it just kicks me right in the gut.
Right.
I can finally talk about it with people, and
right, finally get on camera.
There's still some people, you know, a year and 7 months later that you run into, you hadn't seen forever, and you have to tell them or say, "Did you know that Robbie's passed?"
Right.
And I can do that now and not break down.
I get that too, you know, because like some people move away from Fort Myers, because me and Robbie we had a huge circle.
Yeah.
You know, we tried our best not to do anybody wrong other than making shitty decisions with you, and, you know, not doing the right thing all the time by paying back money, stuff like that. But like, and the same thing happens with me. It's like, hey, like somebody not that long ago was like, "Hey, how's Robbie?" And man, I said, "Robbie's fucking dead, man." You know, and then like, of course, I'm so sorry. And then it wasn't bothering me, but then like it brought it back up. So then that individual left, or it was in the grocery store here at the Winn-Dixie, whatever. And then I hopped back in my car, and it was just like, it was like I was reliving it all over again.
I know at the office before COVID, and I was still there every day, all day. It's just, like I said, once again, little things. I'd get out of a meeting, I'd go back to my desk, and I'd like pick up my phone to see if I'd missed a text from Robbie. Well, it's
right.
Like, let's see.
Right.
Just little things. And it's like, I say, "What do you miss the most?" And it's like, what I miss the most is how hard he could make me laugh. Like
right.
nobody else.
No matter what was going on, he was a character.
With personal little jokes and funnies, and you know how it is in the family. We all have them.
Oh my goodness! You want to know one?
It's hot, Adam. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! You just took that away from me. That's what I was going to tell my viewers is, you know, one thing about Robbie. You know, Mom always was an amazing cook. I owe a lot of my ability to Susan, my mom here, and there was always a joke because I'm a really fast eater. I don't know if I got that from being incarcerated or what, but like it would sit down and la 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 la, and I would always get a mouthful of the most burning hotness ever. And I'm not talking once or twice or 20 or 50 times, like every time we sat down. And Robbie would always say to me, "Be careful, it's hot," while I'm going, you know, that's definitely
Little things.
Yeah.
That can bring it back, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is why we need to remain in the good things, right? Because when I remain in the bad things about the death of Robbie, you know, this picture was of us holding an Easter egg. That was in the old house in Buckingham. That was Easter Sunday, you know, and it was so funny because we had so much personality, similar traits, and so much. We kept the short hair because it was cost effective and it was just easy to maintain, you know. So many people literally thought we shared the same DNA makeup because we were outgoing, and, you know, the compassion and love and care that you showed me and instilled in Robbie, we went out and tried to do it in other people, you know, and that's why, you know, I remember his service as a celebration of life. You know, we had such a massive turnout, so it was really nice to see.
Beautiful day.
It was really nice for everybody to honor my brother, Susan's son, that day. Well, I think we're about done. If you do you want to offer, if you could offer any advice to anybody, or is there any other things that?
Get help. if you're a parent, try and get help or get them help. It's not an easy thing.
Definitely not. And sometimes I realized is like, you know how many times you told us that we need to get our act together, our shit together, you know, and oh no, we're fine. We're just great. Everything's great. And then I go out and I see some of the people that are still in the old circle, man, and they're saying, oh, I dabbled just a little, or things are okay. And like everybody looks so bad, man. Like I look at my arrest record or my mug shot from when I had the fancy braids and all that, because I was out there thugging, and I'm like, man, I've came so far. So I really appreciate you, Mama, for doing this. If you stay tuned, we'll see you real soon. Make sure you subscribe.